Hey there, thanks so much for joining us for another 3-tip bit. Today I'm so excited to have Kamber Parker join us for the conversation. Kamber, thanks for joining us today.
Having me, Lindsay. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell us who you are, what you do, and who you do it for.
So my name is Kamber Parker, and I'm currently the Associate Director for the Greenville Area Parkinson's Society, which is a local nonprofit in the Greenville area. We serve the entire upstate. In addition to that, I'm also the owner of a young professional blog that I started back in March of 2019 called the YoPro.
Love it. And that's how you and I met. So I'm looking forward to you sharing with us 3 tips that actually really encompass young professionals, right? And pertain to them. And my gut says that your 3 tips probably apply to all of us, right? But maybe not. So what are those 3 tips that you're looking to share with us today?
Yeah. So when I was thinking about this, I thought I was targeting, young professionals, but like you just said, really these can go across the board, across generations, especially in a time like this. So I'm excited to share those with you today. So my first one is showing you're essential. We all should always show that we're essential. We want to be able to build our credibility up in any roles and positions that we have, but particularly during this time, when I look at it from a young professional angle, some of us as young professionals don't have a lot of experience in the workplace. We might have under 5 years of experience. We might have 10 years of experience, but at the same time, we're all on equal playing fields when it comes to showing our worth. As we move into Q2, we're looking at a lot of uncertainty. And so what are the things that you can do to really put yourself ahead? I think that's a really important piece of information to keep in mind. So that's my first tip. Number 2 is really trying to find the positive in this situation. A lot of us are looking at this current situation or current state as something really negative, which, the reality is, yeah, it's negative. It's negative on our economy. It's negative for the health of hundreds of thousands of people. There's a lot going on, but how can you find the positive in that? I have struggled just working from home as an extroverted extrovert. I shared this with you last week, Lindsay. I need that constant socialization to really get my energy. And without that, I have started to see my productivity slip a little bit. And what's actually helped me, and I've noticed a shift in the last week, is looking at the positives of the situation. One of which is just taking the time to reset, which we all need in our society. We are constantly going. When I look at it from a young professional angle specifically, that's really all I've ever known is, you get out in the workplace and you're working 10-hour days sometimes, you're working 10-plus-hour days sometimes, because that's what you think you have to do. And this is giving everyone, not just young professionals, the time to pause and reflect. And so I think there's so many positives that we can take from this experience. So that's number 2. And my last tip for everyone is use this time to grow. Going off of the positive approach, what can you do right now to get yourself ahead? So it kind of ties all 3 of my tips together, but use this time to grow personally, professionally. I know for myself, I've been taking some online classes because I do have some new free time that I am not used to having. And so I want to be able to, yes, relax, but also take the time and grow. So I'm reading a lot of books. I'm reading nonfiction. I'm reading fiction, professional development books. I'm taking classes on Ivy. I think it's like ivyleague.com, or there's some free Ivy classes that you can take. Class Corner. So those are some free opportunities that I would recommend for people. And I would also take this time to, reconnect with old friends, take some time and really, read the news, but be careful about where you're getting your news from. But, educate yourself on the news that is also pertaining to things other than COVID-19. So those 3 things are definitely something I'd recommend right now. But just to recap those: show you're essential, find the positive in the current situation, and then take this time to grow.
I love that. And even ending on the growth note, I didn't know that that website existed. So I'm going to look into that. And it actually reminds me, if you are paying for any premium subscription on LinkedIn, years ago, LinkedIn acquired a company called lynda.com, Lynda. And so if you are on any of those premium subscription levels on LinkedIn, you have access to LinkedIn Learning, which is another place. Now, again, you have to pay to play, unlike the tool that you're using, but it's just another place to get access to growth and development and really great resources. So those are awesome, and I appreciate how you gave specific examples as well as pertaining them to young professionals. So I know we'll have a lot of listeners that will help. Kamber, how can people find you and the YoPro know?
Yeah, great question. So first things first, I would definitely recommend you reaching out to us on Instagram. So you can follow us at the YoPro Know. So that's the YO Pro, PRO, and then no, but KNOW. That always gets people. So the YoPro Know. I would also encourage you to follow us on LinkedIn. So that's a huge platform for us. And then you can also subscribe to weekly interviews that come out with features from young professionals across the world in various fields and stages of life. And you can find that on our website at yoprono.com.
So good. Love it. All right. So we are going to end on a life hack that you would like to share with our listeners today.
Yes. So we'll see how you all feel about this one, but networking is something that is obviously so important pre, post, during COVID-19. I think some people would argue that it is probably the most critical right now as we're all disconnected physically. So, we want to make sure we're focusing on really connecting as much as we can within the four corners of our homes. So thankfully, we do have technology to help us with that. But think about, all these virtual happy hours that are coming to be right now. I think I have about 4 scheduled next week. So it's my social calendar is really full now. But one thing to think about is, try some virtual lunches. It's so important to stay connected to people. And again, thinking outside the box here, but stay connected and consider, maybe get crazy, do a virtual breakfast. Who knows?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I'm with you. There's a lot of virtual happy hours happening. I actually had to decline one this afternoon because,
Wow.
so overbooked, but love that. Virtual lunches, virtual breakfasts. What a great idea. So Kamber, thanks so much for joining us. And thank you for tuning in to another 3-Tip Bit. We'll see you on the next conversation.